Welcome in everyone to Bet Win Repeat. I'm your host, Hannah Mears. You can follow my social medias at Mears Hannah. That's Instagram and Twitter. Hit me up. We post daily Mearsy minutes of my best bets also on Picks and Parlays. So make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single second of what we've got going on content-wise. Also, make sure you download the new Picks and Parlays app, available on all mobile device platforms. You'll also get all of our content through the app as well. Now, Bet Win Repeat is where you can come get a ton of content, listen to our show Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern. But if you are interested in any of our contests, whether that's our daily contests, like weekly, monthly, head over to our Facebook page. So join the PNP contest page on Facebook, and you can get all of that fun and games over there as well. And don't forget, if you head over to our website, picksandparlays.net, use promo code MLB. It'll save you 20% off the entire site, so you can get all of our cappers premium picks at a discount. Also, don't forget, Beers with Mears is live. It's up. It's running. You can follow it on Instagram. You can also follow Beers with Mears on TikTok. And then better yet, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications at Picks and Parlays because it's live on our YouTube page, all of the full shows. We've had awesome guests, including the award-winning Ryan Clark on the show. We also have had Jay Billis. We have had the most recent and Trevor Sikkema, PFF analyst. So with all the OTAs and football news happening recently in the NFL, that's a great one to look at. So definitely stay tuned for all of that. Now it's time to bring in my friend Cam, because we have a ton to talk about, Cam, especially in the NBA. But first and foremost, how you doing out there? What's going on, Cam Ross? Tell us all about you.
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing pretty good. Bets are faring well. Everything's going good. My son's first birthday party was this past weekend. 10 out of 10. Loved it. So everything's going well.
Was there a theme? Was there a
yes.
theme?
If you wouldn't have said where the wild things are.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yep.
Did he have a smash cake for his first birthday? When they have the cake and they just like put their hands out through it, like the little one. Oh, we're waiting for it. Oh, yes. Yes, he did have the smash cake.
He did. Yep, he did. And then he had the whole thing because it got in his eyes, but he had cake all in his hands, so he tried to wipe his own eyes, and it was just chaos.
And it was everywhere, as he should. Happy birthday to your son, belated here on Bet Win Repeat. Now let's talk about. I know, look at that face, Lenny. I agree. Some things that people are tuning in to hear. Miami, Boston. Let's just start right there. The Heat and the Celtics. The Heat looked like they were going to sweep this series, but Boston came back and really put on a show last night in terms of when you look at the box score. It seemed like finally across the board, all of the guys that they needed to showed up. However, they're still not as deep in their bench as Miami did. So that being said, can Boston come back and close out? Or is Miami going to just kind of shut the doors tomorrow?
First half of that game, Boston was real skittish. Jason and Jalen, they were so-so. Marcus Smart was struggling. He couldn't throw it in the river. And in that third quarter, they had that 16-0 run. Boston finally last night looks like who we all thought they were. Mm-hmm. And I think at the very least, this series is going to see 6 games. I think Boston will ride that wave on their home floor tomorrow and get another win. 7.5, 8 is a lot. That means everybody's expecting a blowout. I don't think the Heat are going to lay down. Gabe Vincent, we're going to see about him. Tyler Hero was potentially going to come back. Now they're saying he's not. I think Boston's going to get another win tomorrow and force this series to go back to Miami. But if Grant Williams keeps scoring 14 points on 7 shots, Al Horford had 12, Marcus Smart was in double figures, Jason Tatum had 30 plus, Jalen found it. Even with the lack of depth, as you were saying, bench depth, Derek White was in double figures, Robert Williams played well. The Celtics looked like the Celtics last night, and the Heat. I think the 17-point win was inflated a little bit.
I agree. Because
the Heat didn't really care. Mm-hmm. It got away from them. And, Jimmy Butler played 39 minutes last night. He didn't play much in the fourth quarter. They were sitting over there giggling and laughing. They lost one. Of course you want to sweep, get it over with, but it's not that big of a deal.
I agree. I think at this point, the Heat are just looking to win the series. And if that meant laying down for that one toward the end and just resting their guys they need to come back, which is exactly why, actually, if you look at what my best bet will be posted later on, probably tonight or tomorrow, I looked at Miami at +8 for sure. This isn't a team that's laid down at all. They won 3 of the games, first off, by a lot. And what my biggest reasoning for this, or why I like it, we have not seen a heater of a game between these two yet. You kind of knew in the fourth quarter who was running away with these games, right? Each time. So that being said, even if Boston plays great, let's say Miami plays even better than they did in maybe 1, 2, 3, the first 3 games, I think you can see more of a heater. What do you think? Are we going to finally see a really close game where it's like nail biting coming down to the end?
I think so. That's how I think the closest, tightest game is going to be Game 6.
Mm-hmm.
I think Boston is going to win tomorrow. The Heat are going to try. The Heat are going to come out playing hard. But if the writing is on the wall again, the Heat may take their foot off the gas. But if Boston goes back to Miami and wins Game 6 and ties it at 3, then the Heat have an issue. I think the Heat have a little bit of an issue now because of this in-between stage they're going to be in tomorrow night. If we win, it's over. If we lose, we still get to go back home. Blase, whatever. They're not going to shoot that well. They're not going to do this. The Heat are good. The Heat are deep. They have 7 undrafted players. They're led by Jimmy Butler, who's probably the best playoff player going right now. But Boston has 2 guys who can give you 50 in the blink of an eye. And that's trouble.
Yeah, hard to compete with for sure. But I still looking at this one, I think, when you're looking at money line bets potentially and or maybe team total overs, things like that, definitely be looking at the Celtics, Bulls legend Jimmy Butler. But I do think the Heat can keep it close. And I think they're going to have a little bit more motive to keep it close in the next one. So we'll see what that one plays out to be, how those lines shift and what it looks like. My next question to you is the team that lost, the LA Lakers. They got swept. LeBron James, one of the biggest topics in sports media has been, is LeBron out of the GOAT conversation? Is he no longer having what he used to have? Does he not have the juice just because he's older? Is he the issue? What will he end up being? Will he retire? So many different storylines revolving around LeBron James. This 19-time NBA All-Star, All-Star MVP, NBA MVP, multiple-time, 4-time NBA champion. LeBron James has nothing left to prove, but I still feel like inside of him, he feels like he has something to prove. He wants that one next championship. I have a feeling if he would have won this year with the Lakers, he would have retired. Still might be considering in the conversation to spend time with his son and watch his son now in college hoops and whatnot. But give me your overall thoughts, your therapy session right now on LeBron James and what's happening in sports media with the talk around him.
LeBron ain't going nowhere. He ain't leaving.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't going nowhere. He's said for a long time he wants to play with Bronny.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's kind of recanted and saying, just because it's my dream, that might not be his dream. But Bronny's fixing to be at USC with Dennis Rodman's son. Kobe's daughter is also going to be there. I know she's not going to hoop. But Isaiah Collier, who went to Wheeler High School here in Georgia, is the #1 player in the nation. That USC team's fixing to be good.
Yeah.
Bronny's going to thrive at USC. He's going to play well. I know Bronny, when he was younger, he got a lot of hype for his name, but Bronny can really go. Bronny can really play. He's a really big kid. He's strong. He's crafty. But no, LeBron ain't going nowhere. I think LeBron said that because it might be a possibility, but it also creates a buzz. It also creates oh man, this could be it, or what if, and it almost takes some of the light off of the Nuggets. Throughout that series, the Nuggets were rolling.
Mm-hmm.
The only topic you heard was the Lakers have to do this. The Lakers said this. The Lakers said that. The Nuggets are winning. The Nuggets are fixing to win the title. I'll say it. Regardless of who comes out the East, the Nuggets are fixing to win the title. The Nuggets have a dynasty at the beginning of a dynasty at their fingertips. A 2-time MVP. This team is a smoke show. They're good. They've been good, and it's all finally lining up. They have the shooting. They have the scoring. They have some depth. The Nuggets are good. The Nuggets are fixing to win a couple or be in the conversation for a couple for the next several years.
Yeah, and the Nuggets are good inside and out, right? Like you have a guy like Nikola Jokic, who we talked about, multiple time MVP, probably should have won this year. If you go back and really look at it, will probably be the finals MVP, all things said and done, if Denver goes on to win it all. So he's not a guy, though, that just scores underneath. Like Nikola Jokic can handle the ball outside of the three, and he'll shoot on you if he has to. So they've got a guy who is a do-it-all from anywhere kind of guy. They've got multiple guys, like you talked about. Jamal Murray really made a case for himself. That team is not something to mess with, and I'll be very excited to see who they take on in this next upcoming series, either the Heat or Celtics. Going to be a heater regardless, but I don't know if anyone can stop the Nuggets. But you're right. The only thing we heard that entire time was how can the Lakers do this? What can LeBron do? What needs to happen? Who's going to step up? We never heard. I don't think anyone truly doubted the Nuggets. Is probably what that was.
No, I don't think anybody ever doubted the Nuggets, but also so many people don't want to give them credit. They don't want to discredit LeBron. And see, that's my I think that's my biggest thing with LeBron is when he wins, people are so loud about it.
Mm-hmm.
When he loses, there's so many reasons or what ifs or whys or whatever. Anthony Davis didn't show up. Anthony Davis has to do more. Anthony Davis averaged 27. He averaged 27 and 14.
It's
Austin
not like
Reeves,
LeBron was putting up 40 a game. If they want to make excuses,
AD had 40 in game 1.
Yeah, if you want to make excuses, the excuse is LeBron needs to be that guy then. He needs to be
Come on in.
the greatest
But to
of all
be fair,
time.
Jamal Murray, 32.5. Jokic,
Mm-hmm.
27.8. Michael Porter, 15. KCP, 15. Aaron Gordon, 13. Bruce Brown, 13. There's too much. Jamal Murray averaged 32, 6, and 5 on 50, 40, 90 and was the second option.
Insane.
What the hell do you mean?
Insane.
Right. What? He was the highest scorer in the series, and he was the second option.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a very hard team to beat when you've got that many guys that can put up points or step up when needed. Lenny saying Nuggets are that good. It didn't matter what LeBron did or could do. Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. At the end of the day, whether it went to 7 games, they got swept, whether it went to 7 games, it wasn't, the Nuggets weren't going to lose, bottom line. Now, looking at another team out west next season, the Suns, Doc Rivers is looking like he's a top candidate for them. He will be handed one heck of a roster if he goes there. Does this put pressure on him if Doc Rivers is the coach? Give me your thoughts on this. Does this put pressure on him to win right away? He's coming from Philly, great roster, couldn't win. Going to the Suns, amazing roster. Will he win? Should he win? How much does he have to do before he gets sent home from there too?
He's got to win. But he came from Philly, had the MVP, had a young star in Tyrese Maxey. Another former MVP in James Harden, Tobias Harris, PJ Tucker. They had depth as well. They were good. But even before then, he was with the Clippers. A young Blake, a young DeAndre Jordan, JJ Redick, even Chris Paul was on that team. Now he has a much older Chris Paul. He's an older KD. He has a budding star in Devin Booker. Well, I'm saying he has if he gets the job. But Doc has had a plethora of heavy rosters, and he just doesn't get over the hump. And it sounds like the biggest reason is Doc. I don't know the man. I've never been in a huddle, but just the hearsay among players and guys who have been with him and this and that, it just seems like Doc gets in his own way. He's lost so many game 7s. He's lost so many consecutive closeouts. It was right there. It was
so right there. What's attractive about him to the Suns besides the fact of his name of Doc Rivers and what he has done at some point in his career? But as of recent, when do you move on from some of these older names who are clearly just in recency bias, not getting the job done?
I think a lot of times in professional sports with coaches and with players is teams are more willing to pay a guy who has been there than to give a guy a chance who hasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because from like a front office standpoint, if we have a guy who has been in the league for 10 years, unsigned, and a guy who's been overseas killing for 7, if you sign the guy who's been in the league for 10 years and he's mediocre, you live with it. If you kind of sign the guy from 7 and he sucks, that can get you fired. Same thing with coaching. You know, if you hire one of these assistants who've never been a head guy and it doesn't work out, as opposed to hiring Doc Rivers or Nick Nurse or Mike D'Antoni or whoever, they've been NBA coaches before. They know how to do it. They've won. You know, Doc. But see, Doc is a part of probably the most talked about one championship ever. You know, that 08 Celtics team, they bring that up every chance they get. All of them do. Doc has that ring. I've never seen a team win one ring and stay in relevancy as much as they do. But mind you, a lot of those guys have a voice and have a platform. So they're going to talk about themselves.
Fine, fair. But if we're going to be judging players like LeBron off of what he's doing as of recent to talk about the caliber of player he is, and we're talking about players all of the time like that. We just talked about James Harden last week, Joel Embiid. We talk about players of recency bias all the time. Then why are we not talking about coaches? And I agree with you. The whole reason of the front office saying, well, wouldn't you have taken a chance on Doc Rivers? Yes. Now I'm not going to get fired because I did what the majority would do in taking him. So I agree, less pressure. But like, when does recency bias kick in? It has to, right? Eventually.
I would think so. And see, again, you know, I don't know these guys. I've never met these guys. I've never talked to these guys. But it also seems like a lot of guys aren't really fond of Doc because he doesn't get over the hump. Like, why not Sam Cassell? Sam Cassell's been with Doc for a decade.
Fair.
Sam Cassell knows everything Doc does. If he sucks, he sucks. But give him a chance. Kenny Atkinson up in Golden State. Same thing. He's got all those rings. You know, like you can't, these guys, just because they're not the ones standing on the sideline. How many times in the game can you see the whole court and there's multiple assistants standing up, pointing, woo, 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 or assistants taking players off to the side in timeout? It's like these guys know what they're talking about. And
at some points might even know more and don't agree with what's going on. They just don't have the voice to say it because they need the job. So I would take a chance on maybe, let's say, an assistant that played under Doc Rivers, knows how to fundamentally control an NBA team and knows what it takes to win, but maybe they know what the issue's been all this time to get over the hump and just haven't been able to have a voice. I'd be more interested in that candidate for sure. Somebody who maybe could see the flaws and point them out. So I am very interested to see what happens in the NBA this offseason with hirings and firings and guys moving and what teams build where. And especially in the next few weeks with the Nuggets, paying attention to that. But most importantly, Boston and Miami, excited to see who bets what and what ends up coming. So everyone, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our betting updates. Cam, my last thing for you, MLB, did you see the Yankee squirrel that has been making noise? Anybody see the Yankee squirrel out there? There is a video where there is a squirrel in the outfield running across right in front of people on the little back wall, and Yankees fans are terrified. If you have not seen it, 10 out of 10 recommend looking it up because in slow motion, it is hilarious. But never have I ever been afraid of a squirrel. Have you?
No, but see, like I live in Georgia. You know, squirrels are a thing. I would imagine in New York, squirrels are a thing.
Squirrels like?
Huh?
What are Georgia squirrels like?
I guess they're like every other squirrel. They just run around and grab stuff and get up in the trees and run from my mom's dogs. But like they, you know, what I think at first glance they might have thought it was a rat. Which that could make sense because you know New York has those, but like I would imagine New York doesn't have a whole lot of squirrels. Some of those people, even some of those older people, that might have been the first squirrel they've ever seen.
That's
like,
true.
And instantly, and in the moment, you know, and then even if they've seen squirrels, you wouldn't think of a squirrel in the ballpark.
And
probably
like very
that
close to your face. Yeah.
For that first quick moment, they probably didn't know what it was. So that could have been some of the scare as well.
100%. It was just hilarious to think that if you look on MLB.com right now, that is like the leading story. That is what is plastered on the front page, which is just hilarious to me. We see it all the times with different like cats or something running across the field at an NFL game and things like that are just bizarre happenings. But yeah, the squirrel thing was definitely weird. I remember at Penn State, the squirrels were like overly friendly at Penn State and they wouldn't move when you came by and you just were a little unsure of them. It's like the squirrels ran the campus. You just had to like back off a bit. Like that was their territory. So very interesting. Very funny. If anyone hasn't seen it, go out and look up the squirrel in the Yankees game. Someone else, though, my last thing to you is Shohei Ohtani looks inhumane at times. He looks like a total robot. He is one of a kind, going to be one of the best players to have ever stepped on the field and played the game. Gets compared to Babe Ruth in scenarios. And he humanized himself a little bit. I saw an article saying that his snack of choice occasionally is Funyuns of all things. Did you see that? Does this make you feel better about Shohei Ohtani being like the rest of us?
Yeah, I saw the picture, no hat, regular clothes, sitting on the bus, just eating Funyuns. You know, he's just a regular dude. And so many people across all sports, they dehumanize these people, these guys. Like you said, like robots, like stars, athletes, whatever. But like, no, like when the lights are off, when the jersey comes off, they're just people. And enjoy your Funyuns, bro. You know, get after it.
Would that be like your snack of choice? Like Funyuns are actually underrated. I feel like they are really good every once in a while.
Yeah, I'll eat them probably like 3 times a year.
Okay.
Yeah, it's for sure not a nightly deal, not a regular thing. But no, like he's just a regular person. Like I'm sure a lot of these guys have their own little niches and their own little stuff that they do on the side, or when it's just them, you know, who knows what they eat in the clubhouse, in the locker room, all that, you know. But they're just
Funyuns and bubblegum, baby. Take me back to kindergarten. I feel like that's what Major League Baseball is. One last question for you, actually, Cam, before we bring in Terry to talk a lot of NHL that's going to be happening here with the Stanley Cup Finals. NFL, the kickoff rule change, right? The touchback where it's now going to be placed at the 25-yard line. A lot of special teams players and coaches and staff members alike were very upset by this rule change because it essentially takes out the importance of special teams and the impact that they can have on a game, pinning teams deep. Do you or agree or disagree with this rule change? Because they're talking about it's going to like limit injuries and stuff on impact.
You know, I get it. I get it from that perspective because the return man is basically a sitting duck.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's 11 guys running as fast and as hard as they can to smoke that person. But you know, a kickoff return, like taking it to the house, a punt return, taking it to the house is one of the most exciting plays in football. Mm-hmm. And I think it's gone now. I think it's gone now. Because
do you think this is setting up football for the kickoff to just be gone altogether and it'll just give the teams the ball at the 25-yard line?
Yeah. Because a lot of teams anyway, because you know they moved the kickoff up. There's so many kickers to just kick the ball into the 4th row anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just kick it out of the back of the end zone. I mean, I don't think they're ever going to take the kickoff all the way away. But there's not going to be many returns. There's going to be probably some young guys that are going to want to bring it out, that are going to want to do stuff. But like, I would say it's going to make guys not even catch the ball, but they have to catch the ball because the kickoff is live, unlike a punt. But you know, if you're fixing to catch it on the 5 or the 8 or the 2 or you know whatever, they're just going to wave. So it is going to take a lot out of it. But you know, if it's going to help the safety and everything, I guess I understand.
It puts a lot less pressure on these guys who are back there to catch the ball, right? All they've got to do is fair catch, take the pressure off, not worried about getting hit. So many more guys are going to do that for sure. But it also gives like these offenses such an advantage, right? And it is a shame. It is a shame because it takes the presence off of a really good special teams guys and special teams unit in general. So that's going to be very interesting, but it's also giving, you know, if you have a really dominant offense, that extra 5 yards can be a lot in certain game situations.
I think some teams are actually going to look into squibbing.
Mm-hmm.
Get it down on the ground, make it roll. I think
Yeah.
some teams, especially like late in the game, like what you just said, like if we go down and kick a field goal to go up 3 or to go up 6 or whatever, and you have to go down or to go up 5, more whatever. Like, yeah, we're gonna probably try to kick it on the ground, try to kick it away from you. Maybe just like a little pooch over the top to where it's gonna hit the ground before you can get there and catch it. Even if it doesn't, even if it's only like on the 22 or
Don't
whatever.
even give them a chance to fair catch
Yeah,
it.
don't even give them a
Mhm.
chance to fair catch it. Get the ball on the ground, kick it through the middle, whatever. Yeah, I think just like what Lenny's saying, I think pooch kicks are going to be a thing. And I also think there's going to be some guy somewhere that couldn't kick a field goal
Mm-hmm.
to save his life, that couldn't kick the ball 50 yards in the air to save his life, but he can probably pooch kick the hell out of the ball and put it right where he wants, and he's going to get a job.
Yeah, you're going to see that's actually an interesting point. There is going to probably be in the next year or two, if this really does go through completely, to the extent that they're talking about, there's going to be a new value for kickers in the NFL, and maybe you'll switch and have two kickers on your roster, one who can blaze a field goal from 50 plus yards, and one who can strategically kick the ball on a kickoff to make sure someone isn't fair catching it and giving them better field position. So interesting to hear that. Give us your thoughts in the comments, everybody. That was a round of applause for Cam Ross and all of his opinions today on everything. Always appreciate you for stopping by. I see that we have squirrel footage. Give us 1 second here, Lenny. Let me just remind everybody that if you want Cam Ross and his premium picks, head over to picksandparlays.net. Use promo code MLB and save yourself 20% off the entire site. We were talking about squirrel footage, so I'll let Cam go, and we will throw up this video that everybody will be dying to see and has been waiting to see. The moment you've been waiting for. This is the squirrel footage that we have been talking about during the Yankees game. So this is the squirrel, the infamous squirrel that is now taking over MLB.com as the major headline. You can see him taking off across the back wall, and people are freaking out. I think they're more so just so surprised to see a squirrel. I mean, more than anything, he almost loses it here, falls off, jumps. Now he's a flying squirrel and I don't even know how he makes it. Do you see that? Incredible landing.
That was like
Smacks
8 feet, but it looked 40 because he's so small.
It did. It looked really high, but also that was like a high impact land. Like I feel like it hurt a little bit. So God bless that squirrel. Hopefully he's okay. But yeah, that's been the biggest story coming out of the Yankees this year. He's overshadowing Aaron Rodgers at that point. Aaron Judge at this point. I have Aaron Rodgers on my list to talk about at some point though. Hello. Are the Jets okay if he's hurt? But we need to bring in Terry here and talk some NHL. So we'll get ahead to some OTA content next week when we come in. So everyone tune in for that. Cam, as always, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it.
Of course. See you later.
You are all watching Bet Win Repeat. I'm Hannah Mears. Now it's time to talk some NHL. We've got crazy Stanley Cup playoffs going on right now because the two teams that are in it, have a chance for a sweep, right? We're looking at Florida, chance to sweep Carolina tonight. We have Vegas, chance to sweep Dallas tomorrow. To talk all things NHL, one of our best NHL handicappers that we have here at Picks and Parlays, Terry Edelman, is on the show. Terry, let's start with this Florida-Carolina series. The Florida Panthers really making a statement for themselves. They sort of remind me of the Miami Heat in a storyline way, right? Because nobody was really counting on them. No one really thought of them as a contender. And now they have a chance to sweep the Carolina Hurricanes. Do they do that tonight?
Have our premium play up on the site in this game, so I don't want to give up my side play in this game. But yes, I think so. So I'm going to give it out anyways. But yes, I am. I'm just going to change my mind here.
Come on, you got to throw it out there, Terry. Let's just
I need to give something. So for the viewers that are watching, I'm on Florida. They're a team of destiny. That's the best way I can put it. When they knocked out the best team in NHL history, and the Boston Bruins, who had the best record of any team ever in the NHL. Yeah, I can't keep a secret. Best record in the NHL history, and they were defeated by this Florida team. That gave them so much confidence, and they just ooze confidence, and they have a goalie. In the NHL, you have to have a goalie that stands on his head in the playoffs, that performs well, and they cannot ask for any more than they've gotten from Bobrovsky. He gets paid $10 million a year. A lot of people have been saying for years that that contract is so horrible. He's way overpaid, and it's been right for most of those years. But he's earning every penny he's making right now, and I can't. I think both series end in sweeps.
Yeah, I could see that as well. Ending in sweeps, both of them, which was actually insane. And then it's going to be really interesting to watch that Panthers Vegas series because you're going to have really great goaltending in those series, like you were just talking about, which will be exciting. But if Carolina does pull out a win tonight, do they gain enough momentum to finish out? Or do you think, maybe they'll get one by the Panthers and then the Panthers come back and win? Like there's just no beating the Panthers overall at this point.
Yeah, if Carolina is able to sneak out a win today, they'll have to put their all out on the ice, and I think they won't have anything left in the tank for the next game. Uh, if they're able to get a win, it'll take everything they've got to beat Bobrovsky. So,
How have your
I would say
individual prop bets been going? You've been a prop man mania in the NHL playoffs. How have those been faring, especially when it comes to these series with goaltending and with high offensive production?
I have no props in tonight's game. I won't be shocked if it finishes 1-0.
After your
So
14th,
this series
prop
here,
parlay, right?
yeah, that's what it was last game, was 1-0. The game before 2-1. So
Mhm.
I have no interest in going anywhere near props in this series. However, last night's game, and I don't know if you watched last night's game, but Dallas Stars, Jamie Benn, the captain of that team, decided to push Mark Stone down in the ice, and then figured that wasn't enough. I'm going to cross check him in the neck with my stick, which gave him the 5-minute penalty, kicked him out of the game. And after the game, instead of coming out to the media and saying, "I'm sorry, I messed up," he ran to his car and hid and refused to talk to the media. But we have breaking news in this story. This is like the most biggest thing that's going on in the NHL right
Mhm.
now. Breaking news in this story: he did make a statement today, and let me get up the exact thing that he said here. He said he wished he wouldn't have fallen on Stone and used his stick as a landing point.
Hmm.
So he's basically saying that he fell and he fell on the ice and he used his stick to break his fall.
Do
Um,
we have Lenny, do we have video of this?
he's working on it.
Because I feel like we need to evaluate this.
No, well, yeah, we should definitely evaluate it, but that's not what happened. This
Because
guy
what you're
is,
saying is there was like an obvious cross check after he pushed him
yes,
down.
he went for his neck.
And
He
what
was
he's
trying to
like,
hurt it.
yes.
Yes.
So where do you land on this then in terms of penalization moving forward? Let's say he does something again in the next game and it's deemed an
I doubt
accident
he'll be playing.
again. You don't think he'll be playing?
He'll get suspended, and yeah, he'll get suspended. They're looking at it right now, so nothing's been announced on that front.
Mhm.
But he is having a hearing today, and I expect him to be at least suspended for tomorrow's game. Tomorrow's game.
Wow. How do you think that would impact the series?
I, like I said, I think the series is. I think the moment he did that,
Mhm.
because Vegas was already up 1-0, and that's where I meant with when you asked me about my
Mhm.
props. Is on that goal, I cashed both my props in one goal, and I'll be
Wow.
on both props tomorrow. Jonathan Marshall show for Vegas to get a point, which should be
Mhm.
anywhere from -110 to -130, and Jack Eichel to get an assist, which will be plus money, probably around +110 ish. Those are my two props that I've been going to with Vegas. I'll be on them both tomorrow. But I think the series is done. As soon as Ben did that, Vegas scored, I think, one goal, and then a goal later on, and they ended up making a 4-0 win. And that just Dallas fans were throwing popcorn at the goalie. They were throwing
Yes.
beer and water bottles
They
on the
put out
ice.
Dallas Stars had to put out then. So they're kind of, as an organization, in a little bit of a tizzy right now because they had to release a statement about their fans, apologizing for their fans. And then Ben had to release a statement basically saying as well, like you talked about, but he also said it was just an unfortunate play and I need to be more responsible with my body and my stick. Why would you not just
Okay, I have not seen that comment.
So this
I've not
one,
seen that.
this one was on Fox 5 Las Vegas. It's in an interview here. It says Dallas Stars captain Jamie Benn says the incident with Mark Stone was an unfortunate play. Just an unfortunate play. I just need to be more responsible with my stick. Ben will meet with NHL player safety today, Wednesday. So here is the incident that we are talking about. Lenny, play this up here for us because we need to see if this is in fact an unfortunate play, an accident, or if this was something that was completely deliberate, which the NHL will be talking about tonight. Okay. Yes, absolutely, completely deliberate.
As you can
I
see,
don't know
after
how
he pushed him down in the ice, he wasn't even falling or anything. Like,
So let's look
it's
at
not
this
like
again.
he
So
fell over. He pushed him down and then hit him with his
and then he comes back, and there's a little bit of a shoulder tap after too. So there's more. Lenny, can we reverse back in this one, or is there going to be a replay of this to see it again here? Lenny's saying yes. We have to let it play through a little bit first. Okay, here we go. Clearly hits him, right? That was no mistake at all.
so he's not
Then
falling, and then he
has time to push his stick out of the way to then grab his stick with both hands and push it down. This was absolutely deliberate. And he would have been much better off in saying he could have just skated away at this point. This is a player without a stick now, mind you, at this point, which is why this is going to be even worse for him when he meets with player safety. Because this player does not have a stick anymore, is no longer a threat with the puck. And there was no reason for you to be saying you were going for the puck or anything else at this point. This will definitely have repercussions because of the fact that this guy didn't even have a stick. He wasn't even an eligible player on the ice anymore at this point. So that being said, as a captain for this team, you are setting a horrible precedent for owning up to your mistakes. He would have been much better off just saying he got lost in the heat of the moment and he apologizes thoroughly and things like that will never happen again. And he apologizes for his actions. Instead, he took a little bit of the dark route in the shadows and was trying to say it was an accident. You're an NHL athlete, the top of the top, the best of the best on your team. Best of the best on your team as a captain, and you lose control of your body? How are you an NHL player? You can't control your body at the highest level of your sport?
had time to control his hands on his stick, like you said, and
And
he had lots of time to do
he
that,
hit
but
the other stick out of the way in the air. If anything, that's impressive control in itself. So yeah, this is going to be a huge issue, but for betting purposes, everyone head over to picksandparlays.net, use promo code MLB, saves you 20% off the entire site. Terry already gave you a little hint as to what he's looking at on the side bet in this game, but both of these series here could end in sweeps for the NHL, and then we could have a really cool final between Florida and Vegas. What a storyline that would be. Terry always has amazing prop bets up. He always has really smart sides taken. He's very educated about the NHL and everything going on. So make sure you're looking for everything that's coming up on the site involving his bets as well. Terry, thank you for adding as well, some of the stuff that's going on there. We'll be very interested to see what happens to the Dallas Stars captain and when he meets today with NHL player safety, because that could definitely be the dagger in Dallas against Vegas before they even step on the ice.
I agree. He should have his captaincy removed as well.
Yeah.
Especially after the results from today,
right?
basically trying to say it was an accident.
Mm-hmm.
We just watched it. And it's really hard to say that was an accident.
Yeah, it doesn't take a genius to figure that one out. If NHL player safety does not do something about this, they're going to get some fingers pointed at them, as well as looking out for players, because this year in particular, I feel like we have seen so much action taken in and around revolving player safety. So if something doesn't happen, I think this definitely raises some eyebrows and sets precedents going forward for how players can act, because there has been so many things happening. So thank you, Terry, for your insight. As always, amazing insight in the NHL. Thanks to everyone for tuning in to Bet Win Repeat today. We've covered so many different things, from NBA to MLB to NFL, all the way down to the NHL and the Stanley Cup playoffs. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, because Bet Win Repeat is live Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern. So thank you guys for tuning in with us. Until next time, I'm Hannah Mears. That's Terry Edelman, Lenny behind the scenes. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for stopping by.